We're live. It's Wednesday. It's time for another episode of Attack of the Androids. I applaud all of you that get through a whole episode without getting completely wasted. And
For centuries, we've been warned about little green men. Now, they are coming. They're coming for you. Prepare for the attack of the android.
hey, what's up, everybody? It's Wednesday, September 30th, 2015, episode 170 of Attack of the Androids. Every week, Wednesday evening, attackoftheandroids.com/live. Check it out. I'm Matt. Full house tonight. That's Eric. And that's Joey. And that's Nick. And that's Shane. Apparently, we broadcast during dinner time, so we're just going to you guys can enjoy that. We'll start things off. Happy Podcast Day. Hashtag Podcast Day on Twitter, on all the social media networks. I don't know who started that or why, but we need a day too, and I appreciate it.
That's an actual thing?
Yeah, hashtag Podcast Day today, September 30th. So,
nice.
it's like Secretary Day, right? At office jobs where like everyone is extra nice to the secretary no one really cares about, but then they all like get her flowers and make her feel wanted. It's the same thing with podcasters. Nobody appreciates podcasters, but if we all like stop podcasting, there'd be a lot of bored people out there, right? So this is a day to commemorate us. So enjoy the show.
Does that mean someone's going to send us all flowers?
Possibly. Might send you some malware for your Android phone. Let's start things off talking about the Google announcement. Some pretty exciting things. We're just waiting for the day that you could get a Pixel that was also a tablet for less than $1,500, maybe, or more. What's the price point first of all?
There's a couple different versions. One for $499 with I think 32 gigs of RAM, and then $599 for 64 gigs of RAM. So those are the two options. Then there's an optional keyboard for I think $149.
Yeah, I don't think look at that tablet. You could use it without that without the keyboard. It doesn't make sense. So you're talking.
It's not Android, right? It's Chrome OS. It's
Android.
No, it's Android.
Oh well, why couldn't you use it without a keyboard? You just talk to it, right?
No, if you look at it has huge bezels that make it look like it would be that practical as a tablet, a 10.1-inch tablet. That's what I thought anyway. And the keyboard though is probably, I don't want to say one of the more sophisticated keyboards, but they have some really powerful magnets in there. That's all I'll say. So they didn't cheap out on magnets and.
Yeah, when they were announcing it, the guy that was on stage, he was basically holding it by the keyboard and then holding it by the tablet itself, kind of moving it a bit, so you could tell it had a little bit of strength to the magnetism.
How many times I want to see the cut reels of them like testing it out and it just flying through some glass or something until they figured out the proper strength for the magnet.
Yeah, like you know the Surface tablets have the kickstands.
Yeah.
This does not have a kickstand. It's all magnets.
Yeah. Well, the keyboard
up by magnets.
Yeah. Well, the keyboard itself has like a little section. That's where some magnets are, and it has like a range of 130 to 100, something like that. I can't remember the angle range. Something like 100 to 130 range, but that's in place of the kickstand. So
I got a question. If this is so cheap, how can they still justify the $1,500 Pixel?
Well, that's for the full notebook. This is just an Android tablet with a keyboard accessory. So it's really competing with the iPad 9.7-inch and the barebone and the lower level Surface tablet. They're all the same price.
It's not a full notebook though. It's just Chrome.
No, it's just literally think of a 10-inch Android tablet that also has a keyboard accessory.
I'm saying the Pixel. It's not a full laptop. It's just a Chromebook. It's just a big Chromebook.
But it has laptop hardware though.
Yeah, it's complete. Yeah, the only thing it lacks is like Windows. It has Chrome OS's operating system as the alternate, but it's still high level Core i5, Core i7.
I almost feel like you can do more with an Android than you can with a Chrome OS, unless you just live in the browser. So that seems weird that you're justifying a $1,500 price point for a big giant Chromebook and a cheaper price point, which is cool. I think it's a cool device, and that's a good price for it if that's something you're looking for. But I don't see how that like matches the scale of their I feel like they're gonna have to drop the price on the Pixel now.
Well, the Pixel's not meant to be a big seller though. It's an aspirational device. They've said this I think a few times.
Yeah.
They make it just to have a really high-end Chromebook. I mean, they obviously know they sell way more than $300 Chromebooks, and I think they're fine with that.
Asus does.
Well, I think it's one of those things where, Ferrari is only going to sell X number of $1.2 million supercars every year, but everyone wants one because that's the fastest car, even if they can't afford it. It's one of those pipe dream things. If you want to have a Chromebook, you're probably looking at a $200, $249 budget. But your stretch goal, if you will, to quote a Kickstarter term, is this $1,500 mega Chromebook.
That's true though, because I bought a cheap one. I mean the $300 Chromebook, and I have dreams of the Pixel every night. I wake up screaming.
I had the original Pixel, and it was a really nice experience on Chromebook because you get that screen space and the windowing, and you can forget that you're not running you're not running an actual laptop. I mean, how many people do you think who used computers? I think even a lot of people who would use high-end computers and who buy MacBooks and all that, they really spend about 90% of their time in a browser anyway.
It's all disposable computing, right? It's all browsing the Facebook.
I think that depends an awful lot on your workflow and what you're doing. I know a gentleman who is a magazine publisher and or editor, depending upon which hat he's wearing at that particular moment, and he has to carry around his preferred MacBook Pro along with numerous external hard drives to carry all of the photos that he has accumulated in his literally decades of photographing stuff, because he might need to reach back into his archives for a reference photo.
You should introduce him to the cloud. I bet they would.
Why is he carrying around hard drives?
Really good friends.
Honestly, I've mentioned it, and there is. I mean, he's a gentleman that is not in our age group, and whatnot. He's a little bit older, and I think he also may work on stuff offline in places that may or may not have.
That's nonsense. There's no such thing as offline. It's 2015. Now I'll tell you, the one big difference between a little Chromebook and a Windows laptop, being able to USB tether. You can't install PDA-Net on a Chromebook, but you know what you can install it on? A little Windows laptop.
Now, speaking of little Windows laptops, hang on, before you lose that thought, did a little quick math here on the old Quackulator. With the $149 a keyboard attachment, you're looking at $648 or $748 for the 32 versus the 64 gig unit. And we've all kind of agreed that without the keyboard, this thing is kind of a non-issue.
It's a Transformer Prime without the keyboard.
Exactly.
And that was cool. And how much did we pay for those when they came out?
I don't want to know.
$299?
I probably could Google it.
It was like $4.99 or something.
I feel like they were $6, but I might be wrong. I was long.
No,
I
actually,
think I bought them
right.
after I think I bought mine after the price drop, because I distinctly remember paying no more than $450 for it.
And then remember, you could even never get a keyboard for it, and that was the most frustrating thing. I went on multiple times, and they're like, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
The 32 gig Transformer Prime that I got was 66666.
There you go.
And that would explain why you couldn't get any accessories for it. It was the devil.
The tablet of the beast.
It was, right? Do you remember that thing had so many problems?
It had glowing LEDs and big
They got the GPS add-on thing it had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was useless.
The little fixes they had to keep releasing for it to fix the screen issues and it was.
Then they abandoned it hard. Just left it for dead.
After I posted pictures of that little metal piece cracking, they were like, "All right, we're done with this."
I still have it. I mean, physically, it's completely dead. But that wasn't a bad. I mean, for the time, that wasn't a bad tablet.
I played so many rounds of Shadowgun Dead Zone on that tablet. It was the best.
But you know what that had that this new Pixel does not? It's a freaking trackpad. There's no trackpad on the keyboard for the Pixel C. And Apple did that too.
Is it possible the whole thing is the trackpad?
No.
No. Okay.
But the whole thing is an inductive charger.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Hold on. Hang on 3 seconds. Before you go back on that laptop thing, $648, $748 for approximately $500. You can get a really, really nice, very usable 15.6-inch laptop that is not remarkably heavier, I wouldn't think, than a 10-inch and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
and you can actually do something with it.
Well, the thing to keep in mind is this is still a 10-inch tablet. It's not aimed to be a 15-inch. I mean, Samsung's coming out with an 18-inch tablet if you guys really want something that big. But I'm just saying, like, this is a 10-inch tablet. Android, the ecosystem is not. It's not the first 10-inch tablet. I'll just say that. And it's a relatively high-end tablet. The hardware in it is like the next generation of what's in the Nexus 9. It's the X1 instead of the whatever's in here. It's quad-core instead of a dual-core. And you know, it's a 10-inch tablet. What can what can you really expect out of it? So yeah.
I just
it has a microphone array on it, which is pretty cool, maybe for podcasting and for video conferencing. Here's my Transformer Prime. You can see how big the bezels are on it. The pictures I saw made it look like the bezels were bigger on the new one.
They're about the same. I was taking a look at my Nexus 9, for example, and if you look at the top and bottom, the bezels tended to be about the same size. But on the Nexus 9, the bezels are much thinner here than it is on the Pixel C. So it's about the same size as the top and bottom, but all the way around. It may not be too bad, but I think when you buy something like that, you pretty much want to get the keyboard with it. I mean, you can buy it as a standalone tablet, use it for a little while, buy the keyboard later, or buy them both, whatever. So.
All right, but I think we're honest though that we know that they're not going to sell a whole lot of them, and they're mainly there to inspire other OEMs. So.
Yeah, it's about as expensive as you can get for an Android tablet. Most of them are $400, $300, even less. So.
I just hope they release
so pretty.
You can get the one that flips around for like $300 or $400, I think. It's like an Asus or an Acer or something.
Oh yeah, the Asus Flip.
Oh no, this Lenovo. I'm thinking.
Yeah,
that one too, but that's a little more expensive.
Right, but the Flip is the one that you guys were thinking of.
Yeah.
Well, for what it's worth, there's this comparison chart that somebody found for us on laptopmag.com here between the Pixel C, the iPad Air 2, and the Surface 3. And ironically, the Pixel C is in the middle on screen size, has more RAM, and has equal or possibly more storage, although the price point varies. Ironically, for my eye, the Surface 3 is actually probably the best deal out of these three. I hate to say that, being an Android guy, but
it depends on what you want, and that's what it always comes down to. Do you want an Android tablet or do you want a Windows laptop? I think there's better choices for Windows laptops right now than the Surface 3.
Oh, I agree.
And the thing to think about on the Surface is, you know, it being Windows, you have basically their tiled interface, which if you're crazy about that or not, or the desktop interface, and the screen is 10.8 inches, so it just depends on how well, you know.
It does work well, though, like switching on this thing. When I have it docked in the keyboard, I'm using non-tablet mode, and when I undock it, like, you just swipe, hit the button, and it flips into full screen apps and bigger tiles and everything.
Yeah.
This laptop mag comparison is somewhat inaccurate because if you look, like it says for the Pixel C, cameras not applicable, but as far as I can tell, it has a 2 megapixel on the front and an 8 on the back.
Yeah, it does. Some of these charts and spec sheets I've been seeing online haven't had all the information, like even the dimensions of the device, height, width, etc. So stuff like that is not out yet. I mean, the device isn't going to be out for the next month or two. So.
Now, and it's compared against the iPad Air 2, which it's not really an iPad 2 competitor. It's an iPad Pro.
To anything it's being compared
to. I would say it's a fair competitor to the iPad 2 Air, and the smaller Windows Surface, mainly because it's in that size range. The iPad Pro is like 12 point something inch screen, and it's considerably more expensive, and it's probably even going to.
I wonder if that's why it was included, because it would lose out because it's much more expensive.
Yeah.
I think that the point on this particular chart is that the starting price is equal for all three, and the size is close enough. Pixel C 10.2, iPad Air 9.7, and Surface 3 at 10.8. Yeah. So I mean, it's all. If you were to put three of these side by side, and you had the names blocked off and they were all the same color, who could tell what was what unless they looked at the operating system and the icons for it? Who knows?
At least the average user wouldn't. Like, we would be able to tell, but like your average person, that the man on the street, that So.
I think we should move on only because.
Oh yeah,
this is not the most important announcement, then.
Yeah.
It is the most important announcement, Shane Brady. that thick tablet.
It's not Eric thinking whatever.
Well, then what, Shane Brady, pray tell, do you feel was the most important announcement?
Chromecast audio, of course.
That's
what
cool.
What is it with you and the frickin' Chromecast? Sure.
Chromecast,
okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Joey,
All,
with your mouth full. Did your mouth? Listen, Chromecast, best thing ever. $35. Amazing.
First of all, the new Chromecast app is pretty awesome. Like,
the update is fantastic, and it fixed a lot of weird, dumb glitches, like when your laptop goes asleep while it's playing. Google Play will just stop playing music, and sometimes when Google Play starts playing music, it plays that first couple notes really loud. Like, I'm waiting for it to blow a speaker on the TV.
It's funny though that they call that an update, and to me, it's like. It's even the same app. Like, not even remotely the same app. It's like the other app was just set up.
Yeah. It's got its own main page now that you can go to, and from there you can get your other apps that have Chromecast access, which I should say ES File Explorer just came out with a plugin for Chromecast, so now you can Chromecast your allegedly legally downloaded torrent videos because ES will play them, and now it will Chromecast them. So it's doing the encoding for you. And I tested out earlier. It works good with TV shows, not so much with movies, because the file size and our Chromecast is way in the other side of the condo, and the router is back here. So.
But the one thing I mean, the new Chromecast app is awesome. Works with the new Chromecast, and even an Android TV, so if you have a Shield TV, you get the advantages of the new Chromecast app. There weren't too many surprises with the Chromecast. People were surprised by the cord.
Yeah, and the shape.
Right, but I don't know, but I have a couple TVs where it's actually a pain in the ass to put in the original one, and so you have to get that extender they send you.
It's definitely smarter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally smarter.
Dual band. It's more intelligent in terms of how it.
What was that, Matt?
I was just saying, you need the extender anyway, because that thing blocks a lot of signal, like being jammed up in there.
Oh, right. So they needed to do that. The Chromecast audio, seems wonky and kind of like, who cares in the beginning? But then I'm thinking about it, like Sonos basically said, they charge you an obscene amount of money for like a speaker.
Yeah.
And you could put that money now toward a better quality speaker, and then just use this Chromecast audio, and you have a better Sonos.
And think of it this way. Well, I haven't thought about this very deeply, but it seems like, let's say if you have a car stereo and you just have an audio jack, and you want to use it that way, and you can use your phone. So that's an option. Just plug it in.
It's not HDMI. This is 1/8-inch audio jack for the Chromecast.
It's the little.
They mentioned RCA too. I have to try that because I have USB power in my car, and I wonder how well that will work. Because then I don't have to worry about a case. That's a good idea.
Male or female? Like, are you plugging it into something, or
it's male on both ends? It's a little cable about this big, and it's got a male on both ends. So you plug one end into the round Chromecast audio device, and one end to the auxiliary port of any sort of stereo, speaker, entertainment system, maybe even car stereo. So that's why it's interesting to me. I mean, I don't know if it needs to be on a Wi-Fi network or if you can just communicate directly with your phone, and if so, If it's just a ad hoc connection, that's awesome.
Well, mine get here tomorrow, so I'll let you guys know.
Awesome.
That would be awesome, 'cause then you wouldn't have to upgrade your whole card deck. You could just put this.
Put it in.
Okay.
If it does ad hoc, that works.
Yeah.
To be honest, the audio feature is something that I would actually probably use. I've been debating what to do. I've got 2 computers here in my office. Each has a separate speaker system, and to be honest, a lot of the time I just listen to audiobooks on the speakerphone of my Nexus 6, and sometimes that works, and sometimes it's a little too quiet. So I've been debating adding like a 3rd set of speakers in here, and then it's just going to look like an audio junkie threw up. And I haven't really given a lot of thought as to how I would do it, but the Chromecast with an audio out, that's an interesting thought. And I will be very interested, Shane, particularly if you check in with us next week, how that works out for you. Give it a chance to play with it.
Yeah. There's 2 new Chromecasts. There's basically new improved Chromecast, and then there's a Chromecast Audio. And the Chromecast Audio is this device that is, allowed that you do that. It's got the audio out, etc. So.
Yeah, I think Sonos should be worried now, because now any set of speakers you can buy already have all the Chronos, and later this year they're going to have multi-room syncs. Every stereo, every speaker, if you have multiple Chromecasts, every one of them can play music at the same time.
That's what I'm looking forward to, because sometimes, my wife will be working in an art studio, I'll be working somewhere else, and, maybe we want to listen to the same book or something like that. I've looked into getting Sonos systems before, but they were just way too expensive, and I didn't see the value. $35, multiply that a couple of times to get it in a few rooms, seems worth it to me.
But then the thing is, it's very affordable to just buy a good pair of speakers. You don't have to buy like crap Radio Shack ones.
So if you have the existing Chromecast, is this worth an upgrade or not really?
Maybe less worth it, but I mean there are some other advantages. There's probably newer hardware, faster, and of course the more wireless, capability.
Yeah, it really depends on your setup too. Now that it supports 5 gigahertz, maybe that's a better spot for where you are. Yeah. I bought them because of that, and the other thing, for $35, it's kind of like, why not? It's almost like a why not upgrade.
Yeah. Do you recall off the top of your head, Shane? Was it just the $35 plus shipping, or?
What did they charge me? I didn't even really look. I just purchased.
I think that if you want the audio,
buy now.
I don't mean that to sound douchey, but it's just not.
I haven't even look at the price tag on my devices.
You know what you're gonna get, so you know what you're gonna get, and then you don't want to get sold out. I had to pay tax, so that was it. They didn't charge me shipping or anything.
Cool.
I think the audio part is worth it. If you have, I don't know, I don't use my original Chromecast anymore because it's built into my NVIDIA Shield TV. And I think a lot of these modern Android TV devices have Chromecast built into it already.
Yep.
So if you have one of those, getting the upgrade is probably not an upgrade, or it's not worth it. But the audio one specifically probably is.
Yeah,
if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's a unique device. It's certainly niche, but it's dirt cheap, like the Chromecast is, because it's a Chromecast device, and you can find it. It's useful in a different capacity, so yeah.
I wonder how niche.
Optical.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, people wondered why they just build this into Chromecast. I think you can't have a device with 4 cables and all.
Yeah, hanging off your TV.
Or God, no, it would look terrible. So no, I think it's pretty cool. I think Sonos is niche because it's so expensive, and maybe this brings it into. I was surprised when I heard that my dad was Chromecasting through it from his Nexus 7 tablet. He just popped in to think about it. He's got an auxiliary in. He likes listening to TuneIn.com. Why not just, put it to the stereo speakers in his office or something?
You know what they should do, really, is give a free Chromecast audio to all you poor saps that got the Nexus Q, and then...
They gave him a free Nexus Q, though.
Reparation.
Yeah, it was free. So...
That doesn't change the heartache and the pain that you've gone through, does it?
This is true. It's the emotional, and all the phone calls to Google technical support. I kind of feel like I earned that free queue.
How many did you own at one point? Didn't I send you mine?
All of them.
Because I was linking them together.
I wanted 3 of them.
Too.
But-
He had a nickname from his wife. She called him the Borg Queen because he had so many cubes.
That's like
No.
a sex scene. Aha, I get it.
Okay, so all right, so I'm looking at the Google Store right now, and the Chromecast Audio only does audio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
It's for stereos. Yeah.
Hold on. Did you just seriously ask if the Chromecast Audio does audio?
Well, no. But what I'm getting at is
There's
that
2
why
devices.
would you then buy? But the regular Chromecast doesn't have the audio out. I'm just making sure I understand the difference.
It depends on your setup, right? Some people have their best TV with good speakers, and they could use a Chromecast to stream music and audio. Some people may just have a separate stereo or separate powered speakers.
Right.
That's what you use Chromecast audio for.
Yeah, like for me, why I'm considering using it is I've got an extra set of essentially computer speakers with a subwoofer that I want to put in the garage, and then just hook it up right there. And so while I'm doing stuff in the garage, I can just use my phone to control the audio. So I've got this unused setup that I can use now because of that.
And the worst is using your phone through a 1/4 inch cable like an animal.
Yeah. Well, if I'm doing stuff on the other side of the garage, I want to keep this thing with me.
No, it is much better. Plus, it's a 2-screen experience.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is why I'm confused. Why in the flying heck would you come out with a second device that only does one function that your other device already does, when you could potentially, just potentially, say put the price up from $35 to $39.99 and build in an audio jack and just have one?
All right. Well, the Chromecast Audio has audio hardware inside of it, so you wouldn't be able to fit that in the regular Chromecast, which has to deal with all the video. I mean, they're 2 different purposes.
One is
they're
for
2
HDMI, one is for 1/8 inch audio. It depends what you have.
Yeah, no, I'm following that. I'm just saying I would think that you would be able to split the audio out of an HDMI connection that already exists into a different jack. I mean, unless it's just the simple fact of you need to have a separate processing unit or something for it. That
Digital can't do it.
And you want it to be all cute and hockey puckish?
Yeah, I just want to be able to buy one and then I can use it wherever I want to use it. Like, for instance, the way I was envisioning this was that, okay, I've got a Chromecast, it's plugged into the HDMI port on my TV, and I've got an audio out so that if I want to shut the TV off, I can play music through speakers.
Yeah, that's not. No, this is going after the Sonos market and expanding it.
This is I want to put one of these in every room of my house, and then, when I have people over for like a party or something, play the music from one device that streams everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do have dedicated stereos. Not everything runs through a TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As I said, if you want to use the TV, by the way, you don't have to have the TV on to use the Chromecast now. You can turn it off. It works fine. So, anyway, I think we should get to the phones.
Well, and one last thing, it comes with 90 days of Google Play Music for free, so.
Yep.
That's
Which
not
will
bad.
soon have family plans.
Yeah,
For,
15 bucks.
So Eric
And I
and
will be
his
doing that.
wife can share an account.
Exactly. It'll save me, I think, a few
$2
bucks a month.
Yeah, $2. I have the $7.99 version, so it's not that much savings for me.
Yeah, well, that's what I have still, and so does
Yeah.
she, so it's not much for us either, but whatever.
Unless there's
I
a
can
way
at
to
least say-
unless there's a way of sharing music between the accounts or something. I haven't looked into the actual plan yet, what the advantages a family plan would have as opposed to 2 different, accounts.
Well, it's up to 6 users, so that's not
Yeah.
bad. So maybe I, talk to the family. Hey, you want to, split this subscription? Same thing that we do with Prime.
Yep.
All right, phones. So which one do you want to talk about? Your crappy Chinese phone first?
Yeah, so I, without really even paying attention to what was what the specs were. No, I was able to quickly order the Nexus 6P.
Cool.
Before it even went up on the webpage because I knew it would be Nexus_6P.
Yeah, some people. Yeah.
So I was like ready. I was refreshing it as soon as I got it. Bam. Because I'm not like last year. Getting a Nexus 6 last year was painful.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I went with the 128 gig graphite Nexus 6P.
That's the best looking one.
I got the Nexus Care because I'm not going to put a case on this, and because it just looks pretty nice, and yeah, so that's why I went with that. It's a slightly smaller than the Nexus 6, which I have to admit was too big, and I'm looking. I'm looking forward to it. It's supposed to get at the end of October. I thought the phone. I think a lot of the renders made that window in the back look a lot more protruding than it really is.
Yeah.
This phone won't wobble. This phone's lens will not touch the ground.
Yeah.
It will not touch the desk when you put it down.
Not only that, but there's like I'm not sure if it's a pad or something, but on the bottom.
Yeah, there's another antenna band on the bottom.
Yeah, but like when you put it down, it'll rest there and it'll rest there, and it won't mess the metal on the phone. Yeah,
and there's a slight concave aspect to the window, and so the camera lens will not touch the desk when you put it down. So it actually serves some function too, and it's like a wobble back and forth, which I guess the Nexus 5X will. So I don't have any complaints. I don't really know what people could complain about the phone for. It's I think the iPhone 6s Plus starts at the same price as what the 6P ends. So I'm looking really forward to it. Huawei hardware for previous phones gets good reviews.
Yeah.
Now we have Nexus software. I don't think there's a downside.
If you ever look at either read or watch the video reviews of the Huawei products, the only thing that people really knock is the operating system because it's their custom OS, and you typically can't buy them from a carrier. You have to buy them from a vendor or whatever. But it's got stock Google. So go.
I have played with multiple Huawei phones.
Yeah.
They're shit.
They
may look good. They may have that polish. No, they're shit. Now this might be different because they partner with Google and there's going to be a certain standard in place. But I have never liked a Huawei phone that I've used.
But you can't. It's hard to get a hold of the top line ones.
Yeah, it's the flagships that the ones that they generally.
And there's not one person.
Not where I was living.
Well, you. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I'm saying I had access to them.
We're not going to judge the phones by what Eric in East Zimbabwe can access.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the guy in Asia able to actually buy Asian phones is less well informed than the dude sitting in fucking Kansas City.
In the United States, that's a key part.
In the United States. Who doesn't? I'm just saying, this is.
I think, Shane, that you've lost. I think Eric's won.
This is that was the target market. They were adopting these phones. But I'm saying this could be different. I'm just not holding my breath.
All right, I'll say no one has held the 6P and said this is shit. No one's held it and said that.
I'm telling you, they might have. They were probably held to a different standard, and that's cool. But just I don't know. I would go 5X instead.
Why?
I would go 5X too. Not that I dislike the 6P, but for me personally, I like the screen size better. And when you take a look at the camera hump, if you just buy a $7 TPU case like I always do, there goes the bump basically. So that's not an issue for me.
I like that hump.
But Eric, all I can say is in the last 2 years, a lot of Huawei top-line phones have been reviewed, and everybody's liked the hardware and not the software.
Yeah.
That's but they have a whole brand dedicated. What's it called? Begins with an H. Harmony. Something like that. That is dedicated. No. Huawei has their. It's a completely different. Anyway, they have a whole brand that's like nothing but mid.
Oh yeah, like ACC. Like ACC has a line. Can't think of it, but they have a line of mid-range phone where it's the Desire series. Some of them are really good, but most are mid-range. So.
Well, and good news, Shane, you're gonna get even more Google Play Music for free because doesn't it come with like 90 days?
Yeah, but I think Well, I know at least for the
Stack 'em.
Chromecast coupon, I do not get the. I do not get it because they specifically says this is meant for new customers only. So we'll see what happens with that.
Oh, that shit's weak. Okay.
Yeah. Wah.
Oh, Honor phones. Those are the ones. That is the
Otter
market.
phones?
Honor. Like Klingon,
Like Otter.
Honor.
Oh, Honor
HONOR.
phones. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Honor phones.
But
The
for,
honor of the queen.
but like Eric, I'm strongly considering getting, or at least I'm strongly considering getting the 5X. It'll have to be a Christmas purchase for me, but that's the direction I'm going. So.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
those monthly plans don't look too expensive.
Oh, like with the Project Fi or something else?
Yeah, with the Project Fi.
Yeah, that I'm considering doing. Yeah.
Yeah, Project Fi still rocks, by the way, 3 months in.
Yeah, it sounds pretty solid now when you can get other phones for it. And we should say though the 5X, I mean it's obviously the spiritual successor to the 5, which since I sold all my other phones is one I'm still rocking right now, running Marshmallow, which is pretty good.
Yeah, speaking of which, when does that get released? Next week, I think.
Next week, yeah, we'll start getting rollouts. I don't know. I thought the 5X price wise kicked ass.
Yeah, $379 or $389. What was it?
$379 for 16, $449 for
32 gigs.
16 gigabytes
$429.
should be $429. Sorry, which is still a pretty good deal.
Good.
60 gigabytes should be banned. They should not be allowed to sell a 16 gigabyte phone in the United States. It's too late. Apple does it. Of course, Apple was still selling an 8 gigabyte phone up until about 9 months ago, which is probably criminal through a class action lawsuit.
Speaking of someone who has a Moto G with an 8 gigabyte size limit, I have to agree. It wasn't a problem initially, but the longer I used the phone, the harder and harder and harder it got to use the phone because you kept
The longer you
locking
have
it
the
up
phone,
due to the lack of storage.
What generation did you have?
First one or second?
Hold on.
Are we on to the third now?
We're on the second.
I don't honestly know. Is there
I'm
an
guessing
easy
it
way
was
to
the
tell?
second gen.
Yeah, because I think
Because it was. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Shane.
Yeah, there's 3 generations.
Well, it's
three
right
generations.
here in my hand. I don't know if that helps any.
Well,
Is it 5-inch or 4.7? That one looks like the second gen.
That's
I think
the second
it's a
gen.
4. Yeah, that's a 4.7.
It's kind of sad we can recognize it, even when we don't have it.
Well, what I'll tell you, what's really sad is that you got used to this phone
Yeah.
at this size,
Mm.
and you go, oh yeah, this is fine, this works well,
The Nexus
and then that
6.
first day, you start playing with the Nexus 6,
uh,
and you're whoa, hello,
Blot out
and
the
then
sun.
you drop it on the floor. Yeah, I mean that first day when you go, all right, my size, my entire life I've said size doesn't matter. Well, apparently it doesn't apply to smartphones.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, the Nexus 6 was too big of a phone. I was interested in getting it, but the Nexus 5 for me was running well enough. But the 5.2 on the new Nexus 5X, I like because it's only marginally bigger.
I mean, I had big hands, and I've never had a problem with the phone. The Nexus 6, because you had to wear a case on it, because otherwise it just looked like this slimy plastic thing. Just too big.
Yeah, I had a friend that had it and showed it to me. It's just a huge phone.
So
Yeah.
Shane, you got the Nexus Protect on the phone. You said, correct?
Yeah, because I plan not to use a case.
So I'm wondering though, I was looking at the details of this. There's a $79 deductible, and you can use the program. You can do 2 claims on it over 2 years.
Yep.
So and then there's the initial for you. Was it $89?
Again, I didn't even look.
Yeah, so that's $227 just up front. Is that? I mean, for the phone, your phone was probably expensive enough that it's worth it. But I guess, in hindsight, looking at all this, do you still feel like it's worth it?
So, if this was a $379 phone, I would not have done it. I would take the risk of eating as you said, another maybe in that case, but another $200.
You'd probably end up getting a TPU case for it anyways if you get the 5X, considering the case, the back.
Yeah. So honestly, this is I want to say a little bit of experiment, but like I don't want to put a case on it, and they happen to offer this coverage, so I'm going to take a risk. And you're right, you are rolling the dice that you're going to get make a claim that's worth $180, $160 or more, which I think is very likely if you drop the phone. If that happens once, then I will put a case on it, right? Because it definitely will have paid itself off by then, right?
Yeah. Well, spend it for $699 or whatever you paid for the 128. Yeah, definitely I would think.
Oh, I didn't pay that much for that.
Isn't that how much I'm looking? 6P 128, 649. Excuse me.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Altogether, it was 89 was for the Nexus Protect. Yeah.
And when is your shipping date?
I do not have one yet. I mean, I have one, but I don't consider that realistic. It's like delivery date October 30th to November 3rd.
Yeah, yesterday I was in my Google Plus feed. I was hearing people say, "Hey, the date's this," and then they'd say, "Oh, now it's this." So obviously, it's moved a little bit for some people.
Yeah. Let's see. If I go to the website, it doesn't give me a status yet.
All right, Eric. I'm looking at the announcement on Android Police. For the Nexus Protect thing, what are you basing that $200 and something dollars? I mean, unless I'm missing something here, the $89 is a one-time charge, or is that per year?
It's $89 to buy, and then for each unit you replace, there's a deductible.
$79 deductible.
Yeah.
Per incident, up to 2 incidents in 2 years.
Yeah.
It's the same as Moto Care, I think, which I also bought on my Moto X, which gets.
And think about that. That's the maximum. You do a minimum of $89, and you pay for it up front. And you don't have to worry about it. If you do drop it, then that's when you have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, is there any such thing as a screen repair under $200?
No, not that I know of.
I mean, I'm just looking at this with the idea of, let's just say that once in 2 years, I accidentally drop the phone and it shatters.
Yeah.
So then I'm out a grand total of $89 plus a $79 deductible, and I'm getting a phone. I'm getting a replacement phone that's worth, $600 ish, and I'm getting it for a grand total of like $160.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I've always considered myself to be a super careful guy, but I dropped my Nexus 5 once when I was pulling my keys out of my pocket. The Nexus 5 was in the same pocket, and it fell on the ground. Fortunately, it fell on a TPU case in an area where it wasn't affected, but even the most careful of people will likely drop a phone at least once.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me, little tip, just FYI, there are a lot of people, myself included, that have bought AotA boxes over the years. They're an extremely rugged case. Not going to knock that. However, there's a warranty. They say, if the case gets damaged, come back to us and we will warranty the case. Well, here's the kicker. If the case doesn't get damaged but the phone gets damaged, they don't cover anything.
Yeah.
So
plus, if you buy a really large phone and then you get an AotA box for it, you're carrying a tablet at that point.
Yeah, and what it was, I had an AotA box for the Moto G, and it was a really stupid thing. It was dark, and it was a black case, and I shut it in the trunk lid of the car.
Oh.
Yeah, that is
So
dumb.
I shut the trunk on it. And then when I couldn't get the trunk to shut, I kept shutting the trunk.
That'll teach you.
So I shut the trunk like 6 or 8 times, and I just go, "What the frig is wrong with this trunk?" And I killed the Moto G that was inside the friggin' thing. The irony is that the AotA box didn't.
Are you blaming AotA box for not?
No, the AotA box didn't have a scratch on it. What I'm saying is that I was under the impression that if I bought the AotA box and something happens to the phone, they're so confident in their product that they will reimburse you the phone. That's not the case. They will reimburse you for the case if the case becomes damaged.
Did you tell them that story? Did you tell them? Well, I kept slamming it in the car trunk for about 20 minutes, and then it broke.
Don't you guys test for this?
You guys really should test for the Camry trunk shutting chalk test. You know, but the thing is the case came out of it without a scratch.
Yeah, that's
I'm not kidding you. I still have
send it back to them. They would look at it and say, "This looks great," and send it back. So.
Yeah, I mean, when I called them up, I'm like, "This is what happened. My phone's dead. What are you going to do for me?" And they basically said, "Well, how's the case?" And I said, "The case is fine." They're like, "Well, sorry. Sucks to be you."
That's good to know. Click.
Yeah, I mean, Joey, if you go to the website of the FAQ, there is a question about what if you slam the phone in a trunk multiple times. They do not cover that. They say that right on their webpage.
It's right there. Black
that's
and white.
not even there. That's so not even there, Shane. You're making that up.
Not at all.
Right next to the steamroller.
What I think happened was they had a big laugh about it internally, and then they decided to put it up on the website.
Yeah, right. Anyway, but it was one of those things where I guess I heard one thing, and the sales guy that sold it to me probably said another, and I just didn't, quite get it. So FYI, don't shut your phone in a trunk lid.
All right. It's the more you know, I guess. So what do you guys want to talk about next? We got Apple Music on Android. We got BlackBerry-powered Android phones. We have NVIDIA Grid. I don't know. You guys tell me.
NVIDIA Grid? I mean, only you and I have Shield TVs, Eric, so I don't know if that matters to anybody else. But
those people out there might have them.
I don't think I'll be able to use it much because I don't think our connection's good enough. But maybe it sounds like for a lot of games it could be pretty good.
I thought you had like a solid connection, or is that only on your phone?
I've got LTE connection.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, even your home connection is an LTE connection?
Oh no! I have a DSL home connection, but I'm just saying I don't. Every time I went onto their test service, it said kind of.
Oh. Well, before it was in beta, if I remember right, correct? Like the Grid service. So now this is basically saying that October 1st, so that's tomorrow, it will be available for anybody for $7.99, and you'll be able to play up to, I think, it's like 50 games or more than 50 games. Modern games. I'm seeing Witcher 3 on here. So. Yeah, but like you said, Shane, you have to have a good internet connection, which I don't think either of us have.
Yeah.
Unless, does it do some sort of caching?
No, it's stream. As far as I understand, it's like everything's happening on the server, and it's just streaming. Yeah. It's streaming your inputs and.
They have entire dedicated racks of servers with NVIDIA hardware and Intel hardware, but they're just racks in a data center. I think I would not be surprised if they have data centers in different locations, or their equipment is in different data centers in different locations. But yeah, it's a video game streaming service where you essentially just play the game remotely.
Yeah, it's the Netflix of gaming.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd be interested to see that.
I like the first comment. It says, "The dream of the Sega channel is alive and well."
I had a friend who had the Sega channel. He loved, like, years and years ago. He really liked it.
Yeah, weren't there other services like On something? What was it?
On Live. I think it still exists.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I don't know. I mean, they have some good games. Vanishing of Ethan Carter. I might be pretty good on this. Supposedly, The Witcher Wild Hunt is on there.
Yeah. I think that there's a market for this.
It's still listed as NVIDIA Grid on mine when I know it's going to be called GeForce
Now?
Yeah.
GeForce Now.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for. I assume there's going to be some sort of update tomorrow.
I mean, I see where they're going with this. This is the recurring subscription model as opposed to the one-time purchase. This is we get a little bit every month, and then we can keep coming out with new updates, and we have a constant revenue stream and whatnot, as opposed to this blocky revenue stream every time a new version comes out. But I don't know. This is one of those things where I guess in some ways I'm just still too old-fashioned in that, it just strikes me when I buy something, I want to buy it. You know what I mean? When I buy
you
a
want
game,
to own
I
it.
want to own it.
Like you buy a video game, you want to actually own the hard copy.
So,
Right.
Interesting. You can buy. Interesting. You can actually buy the game outright, and then you get a special code for downloading it to your PC. Now, the caveat is your save games do not transfer. They haven't figured that out yet.
So here, 3 months of a free trial. That's not bad.
That's
Yeah,
good.
that's pretty good. And they're
Compared to GameFly, which gives you an hour, or the place, which
and
was
they have.
a week.
Wait, game what? What? No.
GameFly, never heard of it.
Where do the gigaflops come into? Is that just how much power the bat? Like, what does that even?
Performance, bro. Do you even?
But what does that even mean? Like, where are these gigaflops happening?
1 gigaflop
That's
equal to 2 hamsters?
That's probably
They're all-
processing power for each that's allocated to each unit. Maybe they're using bare metal server for each,
Okay, right now we're going to find a new service that has 1.21 gigaflops, and I'm telling you, when we hit 88 miles an hour, that tablet is going to see some serious shit.
That's right.
Speaking of which, that trilogy, Back to the Future, is available for free on Amazon streaming for the month of October.
Cool.
Seriously?
Yeah, you can't buy it. I mean, but you can rent it for free. Just
Oh, that's cool.
No, I feel like I'm a more patient gamer. Like, I'll just wait until the Steam sale happens, and I'll buy games for really cheap, and then I'll play them over the year. And because I can do the home network streaming to a Shield device, it's not for me. But I'll tell you, if you're a teenage kid, if you're one of those indoor kids that's doesn't see sunlight most of the time, and you're just like cranking through these games, this is very economical.
Oh yeah.
Because if I had a kid that was doing that, $8 a month versus spending $49 or $59 for a new game multiple times a month, there's no question.
How much would you pay if it had classic games on it?
What's that?
What if it had classic games on there?
It should just come with them because they're classic and only play for 10 minutes each.
I'm sort of over it. I don't know. If I wanna play like a classic game, like I'll buy it.
Eric's like, I kind of grew up a few years ago. Like, not.
No, I think what ruined it for me was Square Enix. It's like every Final Fantasy game coming out.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Listen, in the U.S., it'll be the Shield TV will be an accessory to Google Fiber customers in Austin, Kansas City, and Provo. But I don't get Google Fiber because I live in the sticks.
Still not enough to want to move to Utah.
No, but it is enough to move to Austin.
Yeah, I'll say, come down to Austin.
It's too
No,
hot.
Those
is that where
prices
you
are a
live?
little expensive.
Legalize weed, I'll think about.
Nick, where do you live?
Well, Houston, but close
I'm
enough.
totally. I mean, my wife. We're totally gonna end up moving to Austin sometime next few years.
Cool.
Or
You
We
gotta get that Google
touched.
Fiber.
Oh, sorry. We touched on it earlier. This thing from Tech Times about Apple Music being offered for Android, and here's the thing. This sounds like one of those things where it's like, oh my God, Apple is making something for Android. Oh, and everyone's getting all fangirl. Here's the thing. It's a music streaming service. If you have a music streaming service like Google Music, Amazon Music,
Spotify.
or apparently Apple Music, or Pandora, or let's see,
Spotify. Or
Spotify. I was thinking of Spotify Radio.
Audio. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Or satellite radio.
XM. Exactly.
Or AM, FM radio, even.
Okay, we're kind of getting off topic here. But my point is that you don't limit your service to one platform. because you are inherently limiting yourself to a certain percentage of the market. And anybody that is paying at all attention knows that the Android smartphone market is orders of magnitude larger globally than the Apple smartphone market by market share.
Is Google Play Music on iOS?
Yes.
Okay, so who gives a shit?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. This is like a non-issue. This is like Netflix coming out with an app for...
No, I think it's because iTunes is still not available on Android. You can't do iTunes movies or anything like that or TV shows on an Android device.
Right.
None of their other services interact with anything on Android. Now, if this Android app comes out and doesn't have Chromecast support, it just shows that Apple doesn't really care about the platform.
Does Play Music on iOS have Chromecast support?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So there's no reason to think it wouldn't.
Well, because Google built it, right? Apple's building it this time.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, Chromecast Audio has something with audio mirroring, which doesn't work as well as Chromecast support, but I guess you can work around it that way. So anything that's playing audio, you can direct it to a Chromecast Audio anyway. That's like mirroring your screen.
Yeah.
Does this announcement, does it speak more to like a changing Apple, or does it speak more to a failing service that they feel like they need to put it on a platform outside of their own?
I would say both. I would say that it's the first, maybe not the first, but a major sign that they have realized that they are not the majority platform in the smartphone world. And I think it's also a notice that they are willing to bring their experience, if you will, to somebody no matter what platform they're on. And that's definitely something that I don't think Steve Jobs would have condoned.
No, well, they did put iTunes on Windows, so let's not get
well,
crazy.
the thing with iTunes, it predated their success. When they were making iTunes, I mean, Apple was having to be bailed out by Microsoft before.
Right, but Apple, it's true. But Apple does consider music very important to them, and they were obviously falling behind.
Yeah, and Windows as an ecosystem is like 98% or 90 whatever percent of the market, particularly at that time. So.
But you're talking about changing Apple. Do you guys remember the headlines last week? Apple sells record 13 million iPhones in one weekend, compared to 10 million last year. Yeah. You know what they didn't tell you in any of those stories? Almost any of those? Last year had a 10-day waiting period before you could get the phone. This year had a 16-day. Last year did not include China. This year it did include China. iPhone sales on opening weekend were in fact flat. Now that's a huge number, but that's not the story you read, and Apple probably knows it internally. Flat.
Yep.
So if they want music to be big,
yep.
I have to say, from a personal standpoint, music is one of the most important things I'm involved in on a daily basis. Like curating playlists and finding new stuff and all that is very important to me. And so, if Apple Music was really, really good, I would definitely check it out on Android because I don't really care about the source as much as I care about
the quality
of the music service.
Yeah.
Now, all the reviews for the iOS version makes it sound like it's going to be a piece of junk, so not a concern of mine. But I think people inside Apple think the same way about music, even if they don't have very good choice in bands they put up their announcements. So you can't not reach, Android users, and the largest streaming service in the world is YouTube.
Yeah.
So they need to tap into the Google thing. So I don't know if I think they would have done this with Steve Jobs at this point, only because flat iPhone sales. You're obviously falling behind in streaming music. You got to go where the listeners are. And YouTube Music, I know people don't even think about YouTube as a streaming service, but every one of you, I bet, has done this. Hey, I like this song. Why don't you take a listen to it? Let me find a YouTube link. I bet every one of us does that all the time.
Yeah.
I literally have done it 4 or 5 times in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
My entire Google Play music list is built that way. If I hear about another song, oh, do it. I thumbs it up, and it goes in my thumbs up playlist, and it's just in the rotation now.
So if Apple's going to talk to the labels, right, and say, hey, we're serious about music, the labels are going to tell them, no, you're going to go make an Android version because, not everybody in the world is on your thing.
Yeah,
I will be checking out Beats One once it becomes on. Even though I have iOS devices, I can check it out on. I'm gonna wait till it comes to Android. Beats One does not cost you anything. I'm gonna check it out once it comes to Android.
Amazon's they have some of their services on Android too. So
Amazon's ridiculous. I don't understand their strategy at all. we want to sell rock bottom devices, make no money because we want to sell content, but we won't put content on Android or make it very difficult to put content on Android.
Well, I have to admit the Amazon Music app is ridiculous. Every day, or every year, every month, whatever, I go in there and I look, and I found yet another thing that's on there for free. Just to give you an idea, I can't remember what the lag was. It wasn't immediate, but it was relatively immediate when you could go on and for free get the Daft Punk Random Access Memories full album for free right on Amazon Music.
That sounds like a punishment to me.
Now you're ragging on my music.
So
Now you.
It's like putting U2 album on your phone, forcing it down your throat.
Jeez, man, tough crowd. Yeah. But
okay, hey Matt, where are we sitting time wise? Do we have time?
That's all the time we have. What are you, Eric?
Oh, well, our email address is show@attackoftheandroids.com. You can send Joey music tips.
Please send Joey music tips.
Share your Google Play music playlists with Joey and make them full of aqua and blue.
Aqua.
And
I'm blue, baba dee da 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 da.
Shut it down, Matt.
We're on iTunes, we're on Twitter, we're on Stitcher, we're on all those fantastic sites that you are also on. So check it out. Subscribe in the show notes that Eric writes because they're awesome. See you next week. Bye.